Hi, in this video, I am going to be doing a breakdown on this Camry engine. This is the 2AR SE Camry engine. Pretty much any Camry from 09 and up will have this engine in it. And RAV4s, I believe the RAV4 starts at 08 and up. They also have the 2AR engines in it. And this engine is out of a 2011 Toyota Camry. And it has 260,000 miles on it. Pretty much this engine had no problem. It was running flawlessly, but the owner got really tired just adding oil in it because I guess she said it was consuming about a quart and a half of oil every 3,000 miles, and she just got tired of putting oil in it. She didn't want to get rid of her car. She loved her Camry, so she wanted a brand new engine, so we went ahead and bought a new engine and installed it. So this is how I got this engine, and let's start the breakdown. If you look in the intake manifold port, you can see a lot of oil and carbon buildup coming out of there. I mean, this thing was full of oil. This is the intake, and literally oil is just literally oozing out of there. I mean, the previous owner did say that she was going through 1.5 quarts every 1,000 miles. These are your runner valves right here. They open and close. There's a motor. There's a runner valve motor right here that controls open and close. Sometimes these go bad and then they replace them. I haven't replaced too many of them, but there have been times that we had to replace the runner valve motors on these. One of the reasons why there's a lot of oil going to the intake, this car, is because of crankcase ventilation. Means that the engine vents, and when it vents, oil comes along with it, or it vents with it, and it vents in the intake. But luckily, this engine comes with a oil separator, so when it vents, this piece right here separates the oil from the vent, separates the oil, and it vents out back into the intake without no oil. But high mileage, these things get clogged and they don't perform like the way they used to. So instead of catching the oil, it just lets oil go back. It just lets oil vents out into the intake and back into the motor. Also, it could be bad piston rings will cause oil to blow by in here. In this case, I mean, this oil separator, I mean, looks pretty new. We don't know. I am going to take it apart. We are going to look inside to see if it's functioning the way it's supposed to be functioning. But I believe that a lot of this oil is because of worn piston rings. And we are going to get to the point where we do look at the pistons to see how the oil rings look like. If you look at this is the valve cover. If you look at the valve cover, there's the intake cam sensor, exhaust cam sensor, and exhaust VVT solenoid and intake solenoid. So if we're just gonna go ahead and take this off. If you look at this, look how clean this thing look. This thing is super clean. What that tells you is that you don't see no gum, no carbon buildup. Everything just looks so nice and clean here. So it's just a good indicator that whoever had this engine before took really good care of it. If you look in the intake, if you look in the valve cover, you'll see these little line right here. It gets oil feeds through here and it goes in there, and these pump oil. They pump oil on the cam lobe, on all your cam lobe. So it keeps everything lube and nice. I mean, like I said, I don't really have too many negative things to say about this engine. These engines are pretty much bulletproof. If you take care of it like you're supposed to, change your oil on at the right interval, and old oil, change your oil at the right intervals, and use good oil, these engines will last you forever. These are really good engines that have no problems at all. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the front cover off. This is the front cover. This is your oil pump. This is the heart of the engine. This literally pumps oil everywhere in the engine right here. Pretty much, I mean, I've never had a problem with these oil pumps before. Like I said earlier, I can not stop emphasizing how much these engines, how good of a build these engines are. These are your timing chain. I mean, I don't know if these are the original chain. They don't look like the original chain. I don't know. I never really got to ask the owner if they had the chain replaced, but if this is the original chain, goddamn, looks good. I mean, this engine looks good. These are your VVT solenoid. This is your intake VVT solenoid actuator. I'm sorry, these are your VVT actuators, exhaust, intake. Another problem that I want to address is sometimes on these 2AR FE engines, when you start them up in the morning, you'll hear like a little knocking sound for a duration of time. You hear a knocking sound. These is what goes bad. One of these will go bad and it will cause that knocking sound. The part's really not that expensive, but the labor is really expensive. This is your water pump. This is what cools your system, circulating water through the system, keep the engine cool. Pretty straightforward water pump. Like I said earlier, these things will leak and you'll cause the engine to lose coolant and cause the engine to also overheat and blow. You can blow the engine up that way too. So this is what your water pump look like. Pretty standard stuff. And your thermostat goes in here. This is your thermostat. I'm pretty sure some of you have thermostat code. This is what you have to replace right here. It comes out. I can't move it by my hand. It's pretty tough. Yeah, but this is a pretty straightforward job. You can probably do this yourself if you have one of these codes coming up for your thermostat. All right, I went ahead and took the cam caps off just to see what it looked like. And we took this one off first. Look at this thing, man. This thing looks really, really beautiful for an engine with 260,000 miles, and you don't really see too much wear in here. And it just goes back to how good the previous owner really took care of this engine. There's really not that much wear in there, as you can see. Look at this thing. Not that much wear. It looks pretty good. I think this engine probably could have went another 50, 60,000 miles. It just had to keep adding oil in it. But look at this thing. Not so much wear. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. These things look pretty good, man. I can't really believe it. I mean, I have taken these engines apart. Normally, we would do a short block rebuild on this, where we go to the dealer, buy a new short block, and still use your old heads, the new timing chain, new cam actuators, and we use your old heads and pretty much everything on this engine onto a new short block. But the owner she wanted a new engine, so we replaced the engine. But look at the cam. Not that much wear. Pretty good, just average routine wear on there, not that much. And you will probably hear me say that these engines are very, very reliable, very well built. They're simple. They are bulletproof. I'm telling you, these are really, really bulletproof engines. And you're probably going to hear me say that another 1,000 times while I create this video. I just want to show you the rockers. These are the rockers. These are the things that the cam gold rides on, and this is what pushes your valves open and close. Look at this. I don't know how good you can see on the camera. Look at this. Not that much wear. It looks really, really good, man. if you overlook the oil consumption, this motor probably could have lasted another freaking 100,000 miles. You could have got 360,000 miles out of this thing. Let me take it to the lifter. I can get the lifter. I need it. Wait, look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. Not that much wear in this thing. Again, well-built motor. This is the heads of the car, of the engine. This is the head gasket. This is the famous head gasket. Whenever you hear the term that blew your head gasket, this is the gasket that you blow. This is the gasket that separates the block, the engine block from the heads right here. These are all your valves right here. If you look, there's just a lot of carbon buildup. I mean, this is typical of what it looks like inside of a car with 260,000 miles. A lot of carbon buildup. Probably some old oil just everywhere. So this is what it looks like right here. If you look inside the cylinder walls, do you see that spot right there? That worn out spot? That is the reason why this thing is burning so much freaking oil. It's literally the cylinder wall washed out. That's why it's burning so much oil. Literally, it's pumping oil right back to the intake. Now, this is the piston. I'm just taking one of the piston out. See these two rings right here? These are the compression rings. Now, the rings on the bottom of the oil ring, do you see it? Do you see how it's little gum? There's a lot of gum and stuff inside the ring. It barely, I have to push it really hard. It barely moves. Now, all that gum and all that gum in the ring is just from old oil contamination. Normally, if this engine only had probably like 100, 140, 150, 760,000 miles on it, it would be from like bad oil changes and no oil changes. But this particular engine has 260,000 miles on it, so I mean, I can say that it's normal. It's normal after a long time of being used for this to happen. It's just your normal wear and tear. And if we look at the bearing, this is just when I pushed it out, so just disregard. But look, see how clean and nice this bearing looks like? Here, let's take it off. See how nice this bearing look? This doesn't even look like a bearing that has 260,000 miles on it. That's how clean. That's how just well built these motors are. Like Toyota really did a good job on these things, man. Really good motor. If you're in the market looking to buy a new Toyota or a used Toyota, I always recommend you buy any Toyota Camrys, 2009 and above, that has the 2AR SE engine in it.